Well, thank you, Peter, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Brookvale Oval as Canterbury Bankstown are first out. Home side is Manly, and as Peter said, 6 months is a long, long time in rugby league. With the Bulldogs premiers only last September, and now they're languishing near the bottom of the table. Ford, El Masri, Timu, Stephen Hughes, Halligan, Lamb, Polamatta, Glenn Hughes, Gillies, Ralph, Newton, Hetherington, Britt. And coached by Chris Anderson. Terry Lamb with fond memories of doing the lap of honour, having won Rugby League's richest prize. Now they've won one match. And the team they're up against, Manly, coming out now, have only lost one match. The team, in fact, that they defeated in September. Taken out by State of Origin hero Jeff Tuvey. A team including Matthew Ridge. A big Brookvale welcome for Ridge. He's out the back, and then Moore, Innes, Hill, Hopewati, Lyons, Tuvey, Cunningham, Menzies, Kossev, Carroll, Daris, Gillespie. Coached by Bobby Fulton, the national coach. Only a moderate crowd. There he is, the man that undoubtedly will bolster the Manly points total. Steve Roach on the sideline.
Well, Ray, I've seen the Doggies play the last couple of games. The defence hasn't been that bad. It's just out wide they've had problems scoring tries. Craig Polamatta back into the side. That should help them a little bit, but I think Manly will be too strong.
Jimmy Sedaris, one of 3 changes to the Manly grand final side. Craig Innes, Jim Sedaris, Owen Cunningham in for Manly. Hancock, Hasler and Roberts out. Kelvin Jeffs is the man in charge tonight. And Canterbury's team bears little resemblance to the one that won the title for them, but that's all been well documented. Nick Kossev is wearing jumper number 12 tonight, and Stephen Menzies is in 11. The kickoff sees Canterbury running right to left, and Terry Hill is the first of the Manly players to bring it back, and Polamatta involved in the tackle. Fired up, Craig Polamatta. And now David Gillespie sporting the beard. With Carroll now playing it just outside the 20-metre line. Manly lying second, Canterbury just off the bottom of the table. Good money apparently with the bookmakers. Here's a chance for Canterbury. Robert Ralph away from a loose ball from the Manly side.
Straight away they've signalled to the bench concerning Cliff Lyons. The Canterbury players did that as well, as Ford takes the ball to the right-hand side of the field as Lyons very slowly back into the defensive line.
So the Bulldogs are just outside the Manly 20-metre line. Darren Britt chances a pass back. Now it's been knocked on by both. And it'll be a Manly loose head and feet, and Cliffy Lyons is still not well.
Well, he had to reach up to catch that pass before, and he's really clutching his ribs. He must have caught one in that area. Des Hasler on the sideline, ready to come on. Here's the incident here. Yeah, he looks. I think he went down on the knee of the Canterbury player.
This scrum should relieve the pressure for Manly, but they showed their hand. Canterbury, they're going to move up and try and bustle the chief playmaker, who's gone to dummy half now to get out of the road for a while. Kossev, and there's the penalty. Kelvin Jeffs is standing back on the 10-metre line, and apparently he will remain stationary until the ball has cleared the play the ball. That'll be a test on the referee's stamina as Ridge finds the line, and Manly now with the tap free that carries them through Carroll up to the 40-metre point for Sedaris to go onto the left, and Gillespie takes it ahead. And David, playing against one of his old clubs, started out with Canterbury, went to Western Suburbs, and Jim Sedaris pushes it through to Kossev and then Tuvey, and Tuvey looking for a hole that might present itself like it did on Monday night often. Sedaris for Carroll. Carroll goes ahead, and he bumps away from the number 8, Darren Britt. Darren in an awkward attempt at tackle Tuvey and Kosef combining. The latter is with it. Intercepted by Darren Britt. That's a big effort. He was made to look humiliated in missing a tackle on Carroll. He comes back with an intercept.
Canterbury would need to watch this change in direction of the attack of Manly. They didn't move up on the right-hand side of their ruck. And with Kosef heading back that way, he was looking to link up with a couple of players there who were deep in support. Mitch
Newton now, front row partner to Darren Britt. Jason Hetherington a dummy half. And now for Lamb. And Terry decides to punch it down towards John Hopewadi. He's played at the football, so everybody's onside. And Hopewadi is taken by 3 of the Bulldogs. Ridge a dummy half. Then onto the right to go through the hands of Hill and Lyons. Lyons holding it back, and then Innes. The pass from Cliffy Lyons didn't help Innes. El Masri came off the wing and made the tackle, and Danny Moore with a little in and away tries to baffle the forwards. Now Gillespie again, and David is met and put down just inside his own 30-metre line. Yes, apparently very good backing for the blue and white side in the centre and in Darwin. Now Sidaris, and then for Ridge. And Ridge sends it down right onto the 20-metre line, where Ford brings it back for the Hyundai Bulldogs.
And this game interesting for a lot of respects, not just the fact that Matthew Ridge is back in the Manly side as the Bulldogs get a penalty. But you've got selectors all around the country having a look at several players here tonight. I imagine Queensland selectors looking at players like Danny Moore, Owen Cunningham, also Jason Hetherington, and the Blues selectors, you know, they might be looking at players like Terry Hill and also Mark Carroll, not without a chance of making the bench. Darren
Britt then, he plays the ball, and they're 20 metres out from the Manly line. Newton gets a pass round the corner, good pass. Simon Gillies, the Canterbury captain, plays it back now for Polomouta to give it, and then Lamb to push it on for Timu to look for an opening. Gets a pass away. Chance for Canterbury. It's with Hughes, I believe. Stephen Hughes playing in the centres in number 4. They come back, a delayed play the ball. Manly's got their line set, and that is Glenn Hughes. Oh, great pass, but it's forward, says the referee. So it'll come down for a scrum on the 10-metre line.
It's been a bright start from Canterbury, basing their game on defence, and then at this end of the field, looking to get away the little offloads. This occasion must have been a line ball one. I thought Mitch Newton's pass earlier looked to be more forward than that one, but the referee in good position. And Jeff Tuvey now feeds the scrum, 9 out from his own line. Craig Innes moving into 5'8", to break some pressure off Cliff Lyons.
Innes, who quite often comes into 5'8", and of course more so is that important with Cliff Lyons, we think still a little bit unhealthy, although he can't be too bad because they would have got him out of there. Carroll got a pass under extreme pressure. He and Mitch Newton came together. Newton the last on his feet. Lamb goes across. Gillies throws the dummy, then puts on the sprint. 15 metres away from the Manly line. John Timu to the right for Darren Britt. Robert Relf trailing through. And now Hetherington. Jason gets the call from Polomouta. Polomouta goes to the line. Strong little fellow, Craig Polomouta. Forced back under the tackle of Menzies. Oh, the dummy half has gone to sleep. Menzies pounced on it. Robert Relf was somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a good quick play. The ball there by the Bulldogs, and Relf was looking to see who is going to receive the football. And Menzies, some smart work, just dived on it. So Manly have made too many errors early in this match. Dropped the ball 3 times, given the Bulldogs plenty of ball. And look at that.
Well, that's one of the most embarrassing things that could happen in a game of rugby league, you'd think. Robert Relf had no idea as Terry Hill comes to the blind side. All taken low by Jason Hetherington. Polomouta on the top. He's been very involved, the Canterbury halfback, and that's what they need from him. I think he's been the player that they've missed desperately over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Matthew Ridge falling in to send his kick down end over end. Much more length in the kick than was suggested off the boot. Ford wrapped up after a good chase by Craig Innes. That is Darryl Halligan. Quite a sprinkling of New Zealanders in this match tonight. El Masri, he will play it back for Hetherington to answer the call from Mitch Newton. And there's Jeff Tuvey underneath the big man. Halligan was there to support. And Hetherington finds himself at dummy half again. The kick off the boot of Glenn Hughes, who almost promoted the first try for the Bulldogs. Ridge will come off his own line. No pressure. Timu was the first defence man down there with Terry Lamb. And Ridge plays it 12 metres out from his line. Hopewadi comes in to take a run away from the danger zone, and the penalty goes against Canterbury. And he's caught them inside the 10. In fact, it was the right centre in defence, Stephen Hughes. Very talented young players, Stephen and Glenn. And already they've done a couple of nice things here. Carroll is 45 metres out from the Canterbury Bankstown line. Tuvey now. Tuvey puts on a sprint. He comes through the other side. Sedaris backs him up. 31 metres out. Jim Sedaris playing it back for the man that made the break. Then for Lyons. And then across for Menzies. And Polamatta was there waiting for him. The Bulldogs are coming up very quickly, and particularly paying attention to the playmakers and to the runners. Now Lyons goes in the air and across and batted back into play by Manly, accepted by Stephen Hughes. 10 metres outside, or should I say 30 metres away from his own line. Gillies now with a soft run that ends a few more metres up the park. Then Britt, then Lamb, now Timu. And Timu was over the 40-metre line looking for an angled run from Halligan, who, in my opinion, he reacted too slowly. And there's a shocking pass, and it's going to be a scrum with Manly to get the loose head and feed. Well, that was reminiscent of a couple of balls that Alan Langer threw to Jason Smith. Nil all then, as this scrum goes down on the halfway line. And it's been one against the feed, but he wants it back. Canterbury persevere. They were keen to win that one against the head, weren't they? And a bit of a scuffle up between the number 9s in back play as we go across with Kosef and stay with the football. Lyons and Ridge. Ridge gets a pass away. Then it goes on. It's going out to the winger who will score, Danny Moore. The big, long Queenslander, Danny Moore. He gets in to score. The two number 9s are still dusting up back down the park as the ball goes along the line. Matthew Ridge makes the break. There's just a little hint of a forward pass. 4-0 Manly. Danny Moore scores.
Yes, the big long Queenslander did score, but there's a real doubt about the pass from Matthew Ridge, who injected himself beautifully into the back line. Second man ball from Cliff Lyons was a telling one. That's forward to Terry Hill. And that one to Danny Moore set the try up. Two number 9s were still at it. It'll be Jim Sedaris, who's got the smile on the face after this. But I do think it should have been pulled back. Yeah, it was a great decoy, wasn't it, by Terry Hill. I saw them practicing this move at training during the week. Very effective one. Fallen for by the Canterbury side. Hint of a forward pass, no doubt about it. But Danny Moore striding out. Beautiful long stride.
Well, I agree with Peter. It was more than just a hint of a forward pass. It was a forward pass, as the conversion attempt is taken by one of the super boots in the game. So Manly lead Canterbury 6 points to 0. Friday night football. Welcome back. to Brookvale in company with probably a crowd of around 14,000. I imagine that would be tops as Tuvey comes back. And we'll go to the sideline. Steve Roach again.
Yeah, Cliff Lyons has left the field with a pulled hamstring. He did it chasing Danny Moore in support after that try was scored.
Like, I notice a lot of the players out there again wearing these nose guards. I know that you've actually worn one. It's not a guard. It helps them to breathe. How do they work? Quick.
They just open up the passages of your nose, Pete. And I wear mine to bed so I don't snore.
Does it work?
Yeah, Kath reckons it does.
Well, you've never heard yourself snore, have you?
Yeah, but Kath would think it's working because she's sleeping in another bedroom. Turn it up, blocker. This is Carroll now out on the 40-metre line for Manly, with Manly leading 6 points to 0. I suppose you've got to put it down under the heading a controversial try, but it's no use labouring on it. A lot of tries are scored off forward passes. Hard to imagine how the man on the sideline didn't pick it up. But there it is, Manly leading 6 points to 0. The funny part about it, if there is a funny part about it, Jason Hetherington and Jim Sedaris knew nothing about it. A couple of hookers. In the case of Sedaris, a real hooker. Old-fashioned dust-up in back play. Now Britt it is, who plays it back for Hetherington to come left. And the captain had his mind on something else, Simon Gillies.
That's just what you cannot afford against Manly, to give cheap ball away in your own territory. It was a good ball from Hetherington and a simple error made by Simon Gillies. Paul Vaughton mentioned earlier Jason Hetherington would come into contention for the Queensland State of Origin job, possibly. I think he's got to be there. I think he's the perfect State of Origin player. He really could pick up the kind of yards we saw Jeff Tuvey do on Monday.
Well, Manly had that deep back line in position to put a move that we've seen several times from them, and it's worked beautifully a couple of times. It didn't work this time, obviously, but it's something they put into motion of winning the scrum. Now Cunningham, Owen Cunningham, 25 metres away from the Canterbury Bankstown line. And then Tuvey with a short ball for Gillespie, who looks back and then tries to provide, but Timu dies on it. He knocks on as well. And I tend to think he's going to give the feed here to Manly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Dave Gillespie attempted a pass, but it came forward off the Canterbury team. So a strike of luck for the Eagles. They'll get the ball back. Good attacking position here.
Well, I don't know whether they did give it to Manly, the scrum feed. The point I was going to make, the pass from Gillespie was forward anyway. It is my contention that it should have been a Canterbury feed. Now Kosef loses the ball. And it's with Hughes, and he's picked up and put down heavily. No hint there of a spear tackle. And Canterbury banks down with Gillies taking a buffeting from Gillespie and Carroll. And also Nick Kosef. Manly's bench again tonight, brimming with talent as Canterbury goes along their line crisply, and it's out with El Masri, who comes back in field.
Well, they went along crisply, but nobody drew a defender and passed to a man to open up an overlap.
Oh, that's a big tackle!
Oh, Mark Carroll cleans up Robert Ralph, who gets to his feet fairly quickly in a pretty brave effort. And there's another good shot from Menzies in the rib cage.
Right on the halfway line with Terry Lamb, and it's not a long kick from Lamb, but it bounces up, and Danny Moore brings it back away from Timu, away from Hughes, away from another.
He's playing well, isn't he? A lot of confidence, and he's breaking the line. Since Fulton moved to the wing, he's getting a lot more opportunity out there. They go wide now through Ridge.
Ridge it is, that's put down by Polamaunta underneath and over the top by Gillies. Ridge then playing it back for Hasler to give on the blind side. Kosef gets his arms free and gets a pass off. And Terry Hill, he plays the ball now, near enough to the halfway line. Carroll again with a storming run. 5 tackles have gone now for Manly. Sedaris looks for Hasler, who puts in the kick. And it's down into the corner, rolling away, but it is Ford who brings it back. And another very strong tackle. Innes and Moore combining to stop the Canterbury fullback. 6 points to 0 then in favour of Manly. A try scored by Danny Moore, converted by Matthew Ridge. Canterbury are back off, or just off, their 20-metre zone. They've reached the 30 now. And a penalty goes to the blue and whites. Terry Lamb taking a quick tap and trying to get his back line mobile. Polomauta with a swerving run, and Lamb is there following him, and then they all capsize. That pass was forward to Robert Relf, the Manly crowd. They basically called it to the touch judge, who called it to the referee,
who's given a penalty for offside.
Has he given it for offside? Has he given it for the deliberate forward pass?
Deliberate forward pass, yeah.
Gee,
nearly the same thing, isn't it?
That's a tough call. That is a tough call.
Yeah, there wasn't anything deliberate in it. It was more a reaction. Realising the man had overrun him, still threw it. Carroll now into Mitch Newton. 35 out, 5 tackles up their sleeve. Manly very, very dangerous in these situations.
So Gillespie, straight up the centre. He's put a lot of quality into his work tonight, David. He's not the flashiest player in the business, but he certainly commands respect. He takes 2 and 3 defenders in with him. And a chance to build on that for Manly as Sidaris goes back for Cunningham. And they are on the 20-metre line with this 6-point advantage. It goes through Hasler and finds Tuvey, and Tuvey throwing dummies left and right before taking the tackle from Glenn Hughes. Now for Ridge, who steps off his right foot and then is tackled around the bootlaces by Hetherington. The turnover of possession finds the Bulldogs coming away through Gillies to 22 metres out from his own line.
That's a very rare mistake from Manly, just handing over possession on the last tackle. Matthew Ridge in possession of the football on the last. Would have thought that he would definitely have got the kick in. A very meek handover, and they should have been putting some pressure on.
Almost 20 minutes of the first half gone. Quarter of the game behind us. 6-0 Manly. And Canterbury would be feeling, I'm talking about their supporters, rather hard done by. I don't know that any of the players argued with the decision to allow the try. Here is Tierney now. Little Tierney, also formerly from Western Suburbs and St George, of course. In fact, Tierney, I think, was purchased by Western Suburbs, and one of the prime reasons might well have been to replace David Gillespie. Steve Menzies, 45 metres out from the Canterbury line. Sidaris picks up a second man play, and it's Carroll. And Carroll forced back by the Bulldogs defence. Just watching the Bulldogs play, it's almost unimaginable that they've only won one match in 1996. As Ford is put down just inside the 20, and here's referee Kelvin Jeffs moving in to issue a caution to Terry Hill.
Yeah, I think Terry's come up with the elbow in the tackle. Silly play, really deep down there in the Canterbury quarter. As Ford brought the football back, good chase, and then Terry just went on with it.
With Cliff Lyons off the field, Jeff Tuvey has slotted into the 5'8" position. Des Hasler going to half-back. It'd be a bit rare for Des these days to see himself in that role, as Mark Carroll, a big shot there. And the number 15, Robert Tocco, on for the Bulldogs.
Darren Britt driven into the ground just inside the Manly 40-metre line. Polomauta, then Lamb, Timu, Lamb again, made the extra man, and Stephen Hughes had 2 outside him, but Manly were just sliding across in defence. And now back they come from El Masri, and then Polomauta, and then Glenn Hughes picking up Ford. No, it's not. In fact, it's Steve Reardon. As they go now down towards the 20-metre line, Hetherington straining to get that right arm free. Last tackle, and they're looking for the kick from Terry Lamb. Into the air, into the bottom corner, and headed back by Canterbury. Ford, the fullback, is with it. Danny Moore takes him, and the ball goes over the sideline, so it will be the turnover. Straight off the head of Stephen Hughes. And Manly then from the ensuing restart out here on the 30-metre line with Sidaris. And Tocco is in 15. Ridden's in 16. Kosev. Terry Hill trying to fend away the defence. Hopewadi not impressed with Daryl Halligan. Daryl was all over him long before Hopewadi looked like getting the football. Danny Moore, a floating pass from Matthew Ridge. Then Moore stands and offloads for Ridge, and that was forward. So the scrum will go down with Manly leading 6-0, 23 minutes gone at Brookvale. Welcome back. A tight encounter here at Brookvale. Canterbury have matched it with Manly. Pass for pass, tackle for tackle. Glenn Hughes, no thought of self-preservation there. This is Tocco now. Just into Manly's territory. And we're into the second quarter of the game. Played by Darren Britt. Fed away to the right by Hetherington. Good passing from dummy half from Hetherington. Now for Timu. Grub a kick ahead. Ridge on the back foot. Timu leads the procession. Stephen Hughes makes the tackle. 15 metres away from the Manly line.
It just shows the quality of the Manly defence, doesn't it? Canterbury having problems getting through it, so even on the third or fourth tackle had to resort to the kick to try and get some advantage, but well covered by Ridge.
That is a good tactic against Manly, except the kick has got to be a good one. It's either just got to dribble through the front defensive line or over the head of Matthew Ridge, who does stand fairly flat in cover defence. Unfortunately, John Timu's kick the wrong distance straight into Matthew Ridge's hands.
Des Hasler now, centre of the park. What's the update on Cliffy Lyons, Blocker?
Yeah, torn hamstring. He won't be back tonight. Probably the good thing for Manly is it's a split round next week.
And the kick on the last from Danny Moore. It wasn't a bad kick under the pressure he was experiencing. Ford plays it back then on his 30-metre line, and Daryl Halligan committed the problem of running sideways, and he made himself an easy target for Solomon Haumono, who's now on. Now Manly. No, it's a forward pass. I thought he had pinched them for inside the 10.
Yes, that time was Simon Gillies at dummy half, and they really are having all sorts of problems. That's a mile forward to Robert Tocco. In fact, it was made look worse by the fact that Gillies stepped back.
I put to you the question, that pass was more deliberately forward than the one he penalised for earlier. And that's the folly of that ruling. Now, Innes, who played his part in that try for Danny Moore earlier. Now, Ridge back into Daniel Gartner. Talking of talent on the bench. Gartner and Hasler for 2. And this man, Haumono, he's not lacking in ability either. Solomon Haumono playing it back, and Sidaris feeds it up for Neil Tierney. And Tierney, they're unable to put him down originally, but now they've got him down. And Sidaris scampers out from dummy half. He got a decoy run on the inside. Terry Hill on the outside. And Hill will play it on tackle 5. There's the 10-metre line just behind them. Now it's in front of them as Ridge rolls the ball into the in goal. El Masri with a little bit of work to do. Ooh, that tackle was around the throat.
Yeah, and the touch shows has strolled in for a little look at that one. Bit of a chat between the ref and the touchy. And no doubt this will be a penalty to Canterbury to get them off the hook. Not a bad kick from Ridge, some good chases. And well positioned was Hazam El Masri.
Yeah, the high shot there from Craig Innes. El Masri really needed to get down low to get back into the field of play. But they'll be very fortunate here. They will get the penalty, so it won't be the line dropout. With 13 minutes left to go in this first half, as Ray's pointed out. Canterbury really have matched Manly, although you must say Manly have looked the more dangerous with the football in their hands.
This is Robert Tocco now. Interesting battles between these two sides. In the last 5 matches, Manly have only won 1 of them. But they've got a commandingly impressive record against the Bulldogs here at Brookvale. In fact, I think it was back in 1984 when the Bulldogs last beat Manly here at Brookvale. 17-4, of course, the grand final. Glenn Hughes then with a long pass for Terry Lamb, and then equally long for Polamatta. And they go right out into the centres where Hetherington found himself, and then they look for a gap out wide on the right of the ground, and they take it into touch. Well, that is bad play. It started out looking very attractive, finished up quite embarrassing.
That's the problem you have against Manly, who play a sliding defence, and they do it so well that eventually you run out of room unless you get some angled runners coming back in field. And Stephen Hughes, well, he ran out of support and space, ended up with the legs over the sideline. It's just perfectly executed Manly defence.
Just repeating, the Cliff Lyons was injured in the opening minute of the game. And then he's left the field with a torn hamstring. The penalty goes against Canterbury's back line for getting up inside the 5. As Owen Cunningham is escorted from the ground. Penalties 11. Cunningham, let me have a look. Is it a blood bin? I'm not sure. I can't see any indication of that. It's probably just an interchange. Here's Tierney with a buffeting run that takes him to the 40-metre line. Sedaris, he had an unhappy game the last match we televised here. It was against the Warriors. But tonight it's a pretty confident Jim Sedaris. Now Tuvey, and he's taken by Gillies and Lamb. Play back for Daniel Gartner to send Nick Kosef towards the forward line in defence. And he's tackled on the 20-metre point. So what will Manly do here? Will Hasler put it in the air or Ridge? Ridge it is. And there it goes, the bomb. And a test here for Canterbury. The bounce back is with Hasler. He plummets over the line. And he's going to give a try. Desi Hasler scores for Manly, the second of the night.
Well, Des Hasler scores the try, but put it down to the great chase by his fellow players who put pressure on Damien Ford. It was a great kick from Matthew Ridge, coming down exactly where you want the bomb to. Daniel Gartner flies high. So too Haumono. So it's 15, 16 and 17. All the players off the bench who were involved in this try, and a simple one.
Not a bad trifecta. That one.
A little pale, right? That trifecta.
At long odds, 15, 16, 17.
Oh, the bottom weight.
Yeah, I had 14 in it, Neil Tierney. Didn't feature.
But it also comes back to the great kick by Ridge, and since Cliffy's been gone, the kicking game's been at 6s and 7s. Danny Moore's put one in, we seen Desi put one in, but Ridge has got to take over there. So
Ridge converts, and it takes Manly to this comfortable lead, 12-0, 31 minutes gone, Friday Night Rugby League. Welcome back to Brookvale. Big weekend of Rugby League again. I realise it's a small round. It's the completion of round 9, but there are a couple of classic games, which of course you will find in the second half as split rounds. And we have one on Sunday that is no exception. In front of that on Saturday afternoon, you will see that game, the Crushers and the Roosters. 4 o'clock, check your local guides. And then that game, Canberra and Norths, 6:30 on Sunday night. I am surprised that the footy tab start is 9.5 for Canberra. You'd like to get some of it.
Especially with Steve Walters coming back into the side at Bruce Stadium as Manly go wide. Hasler to Ridge, who gets the kick in. Damien Ford going across field, but it's too long. Rare mistake from Ridge out on the full.
Ridge
wasn't happy with somebody.
He's voicing off about something. And what's happened here? Ridge has been living up in the back line since Cliffy Lyons left. He's been designated with mainly the long kicking duties, even though that last try came off one of his bombs.
That will probably be what Canterbury resort to at this end as Craig Pollamouta goes the blind side. You had to be critical of Canterbury at the other end. Des Hasler had a pretty simple pickup, so not many Canterbury players got back to help young Damien Ford. The Dogs go wide with Lamb. Here he is.
Oh! Peter Ford ran into Haumono's shoulder. It was a beauty. Now Lamb puts a little kick in, looking for his outside men, John Hopewati. He saves the day for Manly.
What about the hit by Haumono? An absolute beauty. It's about his third or fourth 1-2 tonight. A crunching tackle on Ford.
God, how do they keep getting up? Gardner. Haumono is down injured. Is it? No, it's not. It's Hopewati. Tierney now, 30 metres out from his own line. Sedaris for Ridge. Ridge keeping it low, but he's got control even on those kicks. He knows they're going to bounce on end in the top spinning mode. And that's John Hopewati coming off, wearing the Solomon Haumono haircut.
And not a bad haircut either, eh? I think it'll catch on. As Pollamouta tries to promote something for Simon Gillies. Good tackle away from Menzies. Innes over the top. And the Dogs really... there's another one from Haumono.
Well, he's picking them off like ducks at a shooting gallery. 15 is Tocco. They're on the halfway line. 12-0 in favour of Manly. Terry Lamb tries to mount something. And it is John Hopewati that comes out to his own 20-metre line. And he's somewhat of a Houdini. Did we not just see him leaving the field?
No, he just moved back into position, Ray, and he was limping. And when he took that football, he was still limping. The further he ran, the freer the gate got.
Sedaris now. Haumono. A driving tackle over the top of Glenn Hughes by the hooker, Jason Hetherington. I made the point, gee, that pass must have been close to forward to Tierney. I made the point earlier, and it's something that's only just rung home to me, that Jason Hetherington is a beautiful passer of the football.
Well, there's a forward pass ruled against Manly. Stephen Menzies, who doesn't normally react to calls.
Well, it was flicked out the back. A good run there by Kossoff, and I thought it was flicked out the back. See it being forward at all, this one. No, it's gone backwards. Turn it up.
Well, this does give the Bulldogs an opportunity late in the first half, and they really need to put something on the scoreboard. Trailing by 12. Lift their confidence going into the second 40 minutes if they can put on a try.
Gillies playing it down on the Manly 20-metre line. And it's Canterbury working on the blind side. They're about 15 metres in from touch now on the hillside of Brookvale. Hetherington. Then for Pollamouta. Now for Lamb. Lamb 15 metres out. John Timu tries to get around Jeff Tuvey. That's easier said than done. They're 10 metres out from the line. And Tocco it is that takes on the Manly defence line. 5 tackles gone. Stephen Hughes is the dummy half. Now for Terry Lamb. He puts the kick in and across, and Danny Moore came down with it, and I think he's the one that has lost it over the sideline, which will give Canterbury another good attacking set of 6.
This is a great kick by Terry Lamb. They really isolated Danny Moore. He's out there on his pat, and it came to a contest in the air there. Neither of them had control of the football.
And only a couple of minutes left. Bob Fulton gets Gillespie and Carroll back into the action. Good move this with Haumono and Tierney leaving the field. 2 of his strongest defenders. Knows how important to keep the line intact at the death.
So can Canterbury Bankstown do it in front of the half-time hooter? Here's Hetherington out from dummy half, pulled down by Menzies and Ridge. Ford, the fullback, at dummy half. Polamaunta, Lamb, Stephen Hughes, and Terry Hill was in his face when he caught the ball. Stephen Hughes playing it back for Daryl Halligan. Then for Lamb again. Then Polamaunta picking up Glenn Hughes. They're 10 metres out. Centre of the ground. Timu. Now for Polamaunta. A cutout ball for Lamb. He rolls it. And it's been taken by Danny Moore. It all happened rapid fire, and Danny Moore has come up with a slips catch.
Beautiful take there from Danny Moore. Once again under a great deal of pressure. That's precious stuff there of the Manly winger. And Carroll now gets good metres.
Steve Roach on the sideline. Canterbury's defence, what's your opinion of their attack? What's your opinion of it?
Well, I just think that they've had a couple of sets of 6 at Manly on the line. There's not that many options in their play except for that good kick by Terry Lamb, and that's what they're resorting to at the end of the tackle count. More players have to be off the ball and playing in the one play.
Well, I think they lack a little bit of creativity, and that's made look worse by the quality of the Manly defence. As a charge down from Lamb comes back into the arms of David Gillespie. 6 again for the Seagulls. And he's a minute and a bit left on the clock.
Tuvey away from dummy half. What a fine game he had on Monday. Carroll made some strong hit-ups. And here's a penalty going against Canterbury. Not releasing the tackle player quickly enough. And they will barely have time to find the line. Ridge is talking to his captain, Tuvey. We're setting up a play that will follow this kick for touch. 30 seconds from the break. One forward ahead. Good tackle that by Steve Reardon on the much bigger Carroll. Then Hasler, Tuvey, back for a second man shot. Kosef, and Menzies is unable to come up with it.
Oh yeah, and the touch has come on. This has to be a penalty to Manly. Maybe a chance for Rich to kick a goal before half time as Menzies was taken out of the play by a Canterbury defender. This will be very clear on the replay as the Sheriff Brian Hollis out there looking after his players. Halligan, the man, now also being called out is the gaffer, Simon Gill.
Let's have a look at it again. Stephen Menzies, because of who he is attracting so much more attention these days. And he's taken out by Halligan. Nothing malicious, nothing foul.
But against the rules.
Beg your pardon?
Against the rules.
And Ridge is indicating that he's going to kick for goal, is he? Looking for the sand. And I think the ball boy might have taken an early mark, and the Canterbury ball boy is coming out with the sand bucket now. So Manly 12-0 in front. And the most difficult shot of the night for Matthew Ridge. This is their 51st clash since 1947 when Manly joined the league. Manly holding the better, 51-38. The kick from Ridge. Has it got the length? Hits the crossbar, bounces over. Fatty standing there saying he probably meant that. Great control over the kick from Matthew Ridge. Didn't want to overexert himself. And here it is. Bingo. And so they go to the break. Manly leading Canterbury by 14 points. 14 points to nil. 2 tries to Manly. Hasler and Moore. And the extras have come from the boot of Matthew Ridge. Welcome back to Brookvale, and Manly in somewhat of a comfort zone, aren't they? 14 points to nil. I don't know that that is a true reflection of the game. David Gillespie, a little bit of a smile on the face as he jogged past the cheer girls. I don't know whether he's in the right frame of mind for what's about to happen, but anyway. Forward work rate for Manly firstly, and Kosef leading the tackles, and the hit-ups for Mark Carroll. Have a look at them, fat man.
That's a great effort considering he was off the field for 10 or 12 minutes, and Dave Gillespie also doing his fair share. And for the Bulldogs, Simon Gillies, 19 tackles. Darren Britt, plenty of work by him. He's been their most effective forward out. They've been quite creative as well. And Jason Hetherington very tidy around the rucks with 16 tackles.
With only 2 hit-ups from Jason Hetherington, that shows how good the Manly defence is in the middle of the ruck, because he's a good dummy half runner, so they've closed that down very effectively.
Crowd of I can never quite get it anywhere near right at Brookvale, probably 14,000 as we come in with the Manly kickoff. Second half underway, Friday night rugby league, and Simon Gillies it is for Canterbury Bankstown, who brings it back and put away just inside the 20-metre line. And now the fullback comes in, Ford, who took a couple of really strong tackles from the Manly forwards in that first half. It looks like it might be Robert Tocco, who is still on for Canterbury. It is, as Hetherington goes for one of those runs that Peter Sterling was talking about. They probably didn't present themselves for Jason in the first half. Such was the Manly defence. And Ridge is back there, looks for his winger, the informed Danny Moore, who's had a magnificent game. Scored a try and has saved a couple of dangerous situations back on his own line. Tuvey picked up by Hetherington, and Gillies is put down. And a penalty will go to Manly. And it's against the defence from Canterbury for overindulging. Ridge finding the line. Let's go down to the sideline. Steve Roach, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, Manly are really happy with their defence, obviously, in the first half. Bobby Fulton would like to see them concentrate a little bit more and be on the pace of the game. Said use your speed out wide. You're having plenty of luck there through Danny Moore, Craig Innes and Terry Hill. He said the only thing that's costing them is silly penalties when they've got Canterbury caught on their own line. So that's the only thing that can get them in trouble for Canterbury. Chris Anderson said, look, it was a good start, fellas. It was great commitment, a few offloads there, but midway through the first half, they started turning over far too much possession, and they dropped off their kick chase. He wants to see more inside running to combat with the sliding defence of Manly, and he asked Damien Ford to place himself just that little bit deeper when he's receiving the ball on kick chase.
Thank you, Stephen. Second minute of the second half, and Hasler across the ground. They come back in for Menzies. They gave him an awful pass. He's had no luck tonight, Stephen Menzies, as Ridge in the back line puts a bomb in the air. It's not a good one. The bounce towards the sideline, and Darryl Halligan taken by John Hopewati. He had no option, Darryl. It just wasn't going to make the sideline.
Gee, that's a good run again from Damien Ford there. Picked up 10, 15 metres up the middle of the ruck and earns his side a penalty as well. John Hopewati, who's got the left leg very heavily bandaged. Comes back into position. It would appear as though he picked up a hamstring problem in that first half, as Darren Britt drops the shoulder into Carroll.
One of the game's biggest players. Now Tocco. Of the game time he's had, he's made full use of it. Now across for Terry Lamb to keep it low. The chase is on. Ford is leading that chase, but Ridge it is back there for Manly, and doing it consummately. Eventually put down, bringing a boo from the Manly crowd. That is Innes. Now Kosef.
David Gillespie taking it to the right side of the ruck. Very durable player, Gillespie. Something like 35 games in a row. Hasn't missed a match since 1994. And here's a Canterbury chance here, a mistake from Manly, one of the rare ones in their own territory.
Gillies then. Colomouta. Tocco gets involved on every set. Reardon for Lamb, and then for Glenn Hughes, and then a dummy to his brother before taking it ahead and taking the tackle of Tuvey and Innes. And Stephen Hughes stays on the site before going for Terry Lamapolamatta, and then Britt. 10-metre line right in front of the uprights as they come to the right, and again the halves combine. Then Stephen Hughes flicks a pass out, hoping for El Masri, but coming up with mid-air.
I think he'll be disappointed in his brother here too, number 13, Glenn Hughes. If he'd have gone on the outside there instead of just staying in behind, he could have run into a hole and created an overlap. As it was, it ended up being 2-on-2. Really lazy play there from Glenn Hughes. Will he give any help at all to his brother Stephen?
Scrum win then for Manly. And Danny Moore puts his hand up to take it away. 2 tries in the match then. One for Danny Moore, the other for Des Hasler. And the super boot has landed the extras. OJ Cunningham. He really is firm part of this Manly side. Doesn't get as many raps as some of the more illustrious names, but I don't know whether Bobby Fulton will be keen to part company with Cunningham as Manly come up with another penalty, and Canterbury are giving plenty away now.
No, and Cunningham has signed to go to North Queensland, I think, in 1997, but he's been here since 85. He came down as a 16-year-old with a young Dale Shearer. And he's still here playing great football.
It's amazing he does this without any statistical aids. He just rattles it all off. Just comes from him.
Yeah, we would know if he's wrong or not. He just sounds right, doesn't he?
Yeah, we just jerried to that. Now Gillespie plays it. They're just outside the 20-metre line. They go across for Desi Hasler to put it across for Cunningham, and then Hill channels back in. Hasler is still there, and Hasler will take the tackle. And will play it back for Sedaris, who helped him down gently. Then Tuvey, and then an angled run from Kosef. And Kosef is 15 metres out from the Canterbury Bankstown line. Sedaris and Tuvey combine. Hasler waits, and Cunningham gets a pass away that came off a Canterbury arm. It's play on. Hasler gets it away. Hopewate! He will score. John Hopewate gets the try.
They're the masters of ad-lib football, Manly, keeping the ball alive. 18-0 with a kick to come, and you've got to fancy the chances of Matthew Ridge. Damien Ford actually came up with a try-saving tackle or try-saving arm here on Cunningham. Knocked the ball down. It was going to Hasler. He'd have scored, but Des stayed alive to the situation and threw a ball to an unmarked John Hopewate. Just keeping the football alive.
And the man we were just talking about, Owen Cunningham, makes the break. There's the offload, knocked down, and Desi had a couple of players out there to pass it to. Terry chanced his hand to try to get the football, but Hopper's the man. And of course comes from a couple of mistakes made by Canterbury. They're giving away penalties.
So Manly extend that lead. 18 points to 0 now. And Ridge is just about his most difficult shot. There it goes, and with pinpoint accuracy. So Matthew Ridge bolsters the Manly score, 20 points to 0 over Canterbury. 8th minute of the second half. And the touch judge has pulled a hamstring. He's leaving us now. And there's some running repairs for Kelvin Jeffs in the meantime.
And a lot of sympathy from Blocker as the touchy walked past him down there.
Stuck his foot out, didn't he?
No, he patted him on the head.
Oh, how embarrassing. He's only the goal touch judge. Oh.
Kosef.
Doesn't realise the importance of stretching, does he, Steve?
I wouldn't have helped carry it, I can tell you that.
Terry Hill.
Just back onto that great goal kick by Matthew Ridge. Down here training last Tuesday, talking to Bob Fulton, he said happy to have Matthew Ridge back because the 4-pointers now just automatically turn into 6 And without him, the score might only be 14-0 tonight, but as a result of Ridge being here, it's 20 blot, and he's just turned this team around.
Talking of Ridge, he's driving this ball down and finding the touchline. His game is much more than just goal kicking, particularly tonight.
Let's just turn this team around. They were going fairly well before game tonight.
No, they were going okay, but having seen them train, their enthusiasm level was lifted to great heights just by having Ridge there.
You do raise an interesting topic of discussion that we bounce around at the club from time to time. 2 points for a goal compared with 4 for a try. Is it too many? Canterbury then just outside the 20-metre line, trailing by 20 points to 0. Gillies. Taco again involved. Hetherington stays alive. Hasler brings him down. And 10 minutes gone in the second half, with Manly really coasting now. And the chances are a big scoreline will be with us 30 minutes down the track. Glenn Hughes playing it back to Terry Lamb to the blind side for Polamaunta. And Polomaunta's kick dribbling down towards the try line, where Ridge has a little bit of work to do, and eventually the Canterbury defence picks him up and drives him back. Good defence by the Canterbury chasers.
And that's the way to play, man. You've got to turn Matthew Ridge around. He does play fairly shallow. It was a good kick from Craig Polamaunta to get it past him, and he led the chase. You're too late now. One of those games where really, if you took the tries out of it, you wouldn't say that there's been 20 points between them. Just in general play, Canterbury have been very competitive. But Manly, when an opportunity presents itself, it is 6.
Ridge's drop kick, not a long one, and Reardon goes careering back for the Bulldogs, and now Darren Britt, the second on this set. Can they get it across the line and put themselves back into the match with a chance? Glenn Hughes smashed out of it, and that has hurt him. Struggles to play the ball. It's out with Terry Lamb, then Darren Britt, and Darren put to ground on the 4th tackle, and that's where they are in relation to the try line. Hetherington tries to do it himself. He's put down on 5. Gillespie, the chief tackler. Across now for Terry Lamb, and he goes way across the ground, and Canterbury come down with Daryl Halligan. The ball goes out for Tocco. He chances a pass. Manly appeared to come in contact with it. The referee doesn't agree with that, and he's ordering a scrum to go down. He'll bring it, or is it the turnover? No, he's ordered the turnover now. Oh, desperation stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw a Manly hand in here somewhere when these passes went astray. It's about here. Yeah, sure it came off Menzies.
Seems little doubt that Steve Menzies got a touch on it. And that's when I expected him to restart the tackle count.
As it turned out, whether Ford had time to see whether it had been signalled 6 again, the pass from him to Halligan was knocked on by the winger. A breather for everybody.
Blood bin then for one of the Hughes brothers, and he's just feeling that cheekbone. He and Jeff Tuvey have collided. Is it Glenn or Stephen?
That's 13, Glenn.
Thank you. So Price comes on for Canterbury, and Kossev tries to break outside his 20-metre line. Sidaris. Now Gillespie. Taken down by Gillies and Reardon. Sidaris choosing to send it away with Terry Hill. Reserve grade went to the Sea Eagles tonight. 18 points to 4. 18 to 4 in favour of Manly over Canterbury. And that was played in front of a very small crowd. Menzies gets the ball onto the right. Sedaris with a fend. Runs into traffic. Came off Carroll. Went back to Hasler. Referee said play on. 54th minute of the game. No markers. Hasler runs to the line. Heavy collision of bodies then. Into the air by Cunningham. Up goes Ford and he comes down with it, and the kicker makes the tackle.
Yeah, great take by Damien Ford there. Owen Cunningham, not a noted kicker, but put it up. Steve Roach had got some information about the lack of interchange tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Anderson's brushed it. He's only used 2 replacements. There's one of them now, Stephen Price. He's just come onto the field. They've only used one blood bin.
In the meantime, Canterbury take it back towards the halfway line with Terry Lamb.
Of course, the Bulldogs had no luck before this game with James Pickering looking to play his first game for the season. He was named as one of those 4 players on the bench, but had to pull out once again. He's the English forward that really gives them some thrust in the middle of the ruck. There's Hetherington. Doesn't get the bounce he wanted. Sat up nicely for Danny Moore, but a great chase from the hooker, although he can't come up with the tackle.
Danny Moore pinching as many metres as he can. Hetherington came up with Moore's left boot. Ridge underneath the tackle there from Price in the main. Manly have got it out to their 30-metre line now for Sedaris to use Carroll. Carroll cut down by Tocco. And then Sedaris, there's a few metres coming from dummy half for Manly now. Sedaris making a couple of inroads. Hasler, Menzies on the halfway line, held it back and found Craig Innes. Innes, a bustling run.
Still have a Canterbury player down receiving attention, so it's a 12-man line at the moment on the last tackle to Matthew Ridge. They run the football.
Tuvey out very wide, and then Hill. He comes back in, puts the kick in. And it finds the line. Oh, beg your pardon, it fails to find the line. It's too full. I was thinking to myself that, geez, he did kick rather early.
It was worth a try, though. Spinning the ball on the 5th tackle, and Terry, he knew that Hopewadi was out there, but Hopper, I think, is struggling with that leg injury and didn't have the pace to get to the football.
And the man who was down, Steve Reardon, coming to the sideline now. Robert Ralph back into the action. Polomounta. Gillies on the outside, struggling to make it over the 40-metre line.
16 minutes gone in the second half. And right on the halfway line. Polomounta. Shortish pass for Lamb, and then Darren Britt angles back.
Well, that's really been it from Canterbury, hasn't it? A pass from Polomounta to Terry Lamb, and then an inside ball to a big forward out there, and Manly not having any problems at all. As this kick is well placed, Danny Moore again in the right spot. Will be forced back in. Plenty of Bulldog chases there, so the enthusiasm, despite the 20-0 scoreline, is still pretty high.
Ball left Danny Moore with that prospect of trying to get it back, and then actually forced back by the defence into the in goal for a line dropout, which some people find a ruling that's a bit hard to fathom. The rule book says that when a player's progress has been halted, which of course means when he stops going forward, so then a tackle has been completed. Yet the defence is able to force you back. You finish making progress, but the defence is able to force you back. There is some validity in that criticism. Just inside the 20-metre line then for Canterbury to go to the left, and Polomounta to use Tocco, and then he shovels it down for Hetherington and Lamb to combine for Timu. Timu taken by Menzies and looks to get the ball away, but then takes the tackle as Kosef comes over the top and dwarfs him, and then it's with Polomounta, and there's Tocco, gets the ball back around for Polomounta. This could be a chance for Canterbury. Polomounta put away, 2 metres out. Good defence by Manly. Tuvey was operating out there along with Terry Hill. Now it's Darren Britt, and Britt is met, and he's put down tackle number 5. Manly's defence again solid. Terry Lamb goes for the kick. Here's pressure, and it goes out. In touch, in goal, I fancy, but the referee is bringing it out for the turnover.
Well,
it all happened on the last tackle.
It's just great Manly defence. Wherever Canterbury go, whatever they do, there was always Manly players right in front of them. Now, who did that come off? Maybe even come off Danny Moore, but not to worry. Manly have the football. They're 22 metres out from the line. A good run by Tierney.
Coming up to 1 hour gone in this game. Tuvey turning it back in. Oh, Menzies. I said it earlier, he's having no luck. This has not been a match made for Steve Menzies. That doesn't mean that he's playing badly.
I'll tell you what we have seen from Steve Menzies tonight, Ray. It's not the breaks, but some sensational defence at times from him. It really is an aspect of his game that doesn't get the rewards that it should. People see him basically as a ball runner, but he hits as good as anyone in the game.
Gillies. And now Hetherington with a dummy half run. Crowd figures 14,591 tonight. 14,591 as Gillies puts a one-hander back in for Ralph, and then Polomata, Lamb, Tocco. Goodness, he's got through some work, this kid, Robert Tocco. Now, quick penalty taken by Canterbury. They run towards that bottom corner. Stephen Hughes. And a penalty again to Canterbury against Manly. Not retiring. Polomata being told by the referee the way he wants these penalties taken. Matthew Ridge in a bit of trouble. So now it's from Hetherington. Lamb and Tocco again. He's proving the workhorse tonight. Hetherington into Lamb. Lamb. The arms free. Tried to get it away. Canterbury putting pressure on Manly. Polomata. Then for Gillies. Gillies ringed by Manly defenders. 5 metres out from the line. Hetherington goes himself with a bulldogging run. That's how short he is. Just a couple of feet. Robert Ralph. Timu. Then for Lamb. Lamb across and El Masri throws it in. It went forward for Damien Ford. And again the turnover. Magnificent defence. Or is it the scrum? It'll be the scrum.
And I can see in the background Matthew Ridge is leaving the field. Some wonderful defence once again from the Eagles. Canterbury have tried everything they've got in their little playbook tonight, but all to no avail as Ridge. He's played a great 60 minutes for the Eagles.
And 20 points to nil. They've scored a couple of good tries, Manly. 3 of them in all, but I think that last passage of play will be just as warming for Bob Fulton. Tierney just inside the 20-metre line. 17-5, the missed tackle count, needless to say, against Canterbury. Nick Kosef. Gardner hasn't had a lot of game time tonight.
And with Ridge leaving the field, we've got some positional changes. Hopewadi's gone to fullback, Menzies to the centre, and Terry Hill onto the wing. As Tuvey, not a great kick from Manly here.
Taken out of midair by Gillies, and away goes Polomata. Halligan takes the tackle. That's the 10-metre line underneath him. Timu. Tocco is with him again. Met by Tierney and Hasler. There's the try line. 3 metres upfield. Timu goes back to the blind side. Polomata uses a second man play. Then he goes over the line, and it's a try for Polomata. Well, they probed and schemed, and eventually they outnumbered Manly. And Canterbury get their first points of the game.
And even when he got over the try line, the Manly defence was desperately trying to stop Polomata from putting the football down. As Darren Britt gets a ball back on the inside, comes out of the Terry Hill tackle. Jim Sedaris arriving a little bit too late, and that all came, of course, from the poor Jeff Tuvey kick. They didn't set up well to get the ball out of their own end of the field at the last set of 6.
Yeah, great ball there from Darren Britt. And with a lot of possession in this second half, down on the Manly try line, they finally had to crack.
Craig Polamatta, who's had a back injury from memory, and it has dogged his 1996 work rate. And tends to forget that this match involved another of the great goal kickers. His first attempt of the night. Darryl Halligan, 5 metres in from touch, and he's pulled it around too much. So no change. 20 points to 4. Manly over Canterbury. Channel 9's Rugby League on a Friday. Welcome back to Brookvale Oval, where Manly have been tested by the Canterbury side. Eventually Canterbury breaking through the Manly defence line to register their first try and in fact their first points of the game. Just a little while back. And Mitch Newton is back on for Canterbury as Robert Ralph takes it to a point just inside the 40-metre line. Polamatta, the try scorer, putting a big kick down that bounces towards that sideline and allowed to go by John Hopawate. He scored a try for Manly in the second half and is now playing at full back, with Matthew Ridge leaving the park with, I think, a minor injury. But this ball doing exactly what Craig Polamatta wanted from it. Short of course, Darryl Halligan plucking it out of mid-air. Ridge back on the bench. We might just get Stephen Roach to check on Glenn Hughes. There was some concern about that cheekbone. Cliff Lyons, of course, was lost. Well, there's Glenn now. The concern doesn't seem to be evident anymore, so that's good news. But Manly lost Cliff Lyons early in the game. He was injured in the first minute. Tierney loses the ball. Sedaris cleans it up, and the referee says play on. Well, that surprises me. Tuvey coming down the left of the ground. Innes displaying his strength. 40 metres out from the Canterbury line. And Manly looking to go wide. They go across for Solomon Haumono. He's able to flick a pass back and away for Terry Hill and Des Hasler to combine with John Hopawate. And then backing up on the inside is Tierney. Good work there by the big front rower. And that's the 20-metre line just in front of them as they come on the left of the ground in convoy. And here is Tuvey. I don't know what Jeff was trying to do, but it looked very embarrassing, whatever it was.
Yeah, they tried to turn a fumble into a kick, but he's muffed it. Makes up for it with the first tackle there. Got the dusty ball from Sedaris and never had control of the football.
Damien Ford. Obviously got some talent. And Matthew Ridge, I note, is now stretching and about to come back on. What's going on down there, Steve?
Yeah, well, Matthew Ridge hasn't played for so long that he was just tired. Now he's back onto the field, and Glenn Hughes, he's all right. There's no problem with him, so he might see a little bit of this last 10 minutes.
Damien Ford finding the line. Penalties equal as Newton playing for Canterbury tonight and not for Cronulla. Darren Brett was in the sights of Solomon Haumono. pulled off a couple of big ones, Solomon Haumono, and here's a forward pass against Canterbury. So really, they haven't been able to mount anything without it breaking down.
With the amount of forward passes that they've thrown, it's obvious that the attack is too flat. Has been all night. And that one was a mile forwards. Price running on to a Craig Polamatta pass, but even the dummy half work, players have not got deep enough to get any momentum going.
Tuvey wrestled down by Terry Lamb. And then across for Innes to run into the shoulder of Ralph. Newton comes in over the top.
He's a good player, isn't he, Fatty? Craig Innes. He does some good things that we probably don't notice, but very professional in his displays.
Well, there's another forward pass. It's, you know, the advantage line running is what the game's all about these days, and players just keep overrunning that football, trying to get to that advantage line and gain some metres. Time and time again, you see it. But yeah, they've got a very high opinion of Craig Innes here. They say he's one of the best guys they've had in years, and they're very happy with him. I see he's limping at the moment out there in the centres.
Polamatta way to the left, and then a dummy to Lamb, and a dummy out then to Reardon. He dummied 3 times and eventually finished up with the winger, Daryl Halligan. So they've got all the ground to work on to the right. Price in the headgear. Hetherington. Lamb. This is Newton. Ball comes out, kicked across, it's play on, but now it's a knock on. Well, again, they break down.
Well, if Glenn Hughes had been able to pick that one up, it was a real opportunity for a try. 3 Canterbury players out there against the 1 Manly defender. Ford putting it on the boot. If he could have doubled around and got the pass off Hughes, it was 2 on 1.
Points to 4. 3 tries to 1. And Manly come up with the scrum penalty. That was against Canterbury for breaking from the scrum prior to the ball coming out, which translated means they had too many backs. Cheney. Paul, you are very much a Manly supporter. How would you? What's that?
Yeah, Paul.
How would you rate this side with last year's team?
Well, now with Ridge back in the side, I think it'll take Ridge 2 or 3 games to settle back into his stride. He's played well tonight, but just what he can do from behind that line as far as urging them around, calling them in defence. With Sidaris now starting to hit some form, I think in a few weeks we'll see this Manly side at its top, no doubt about it.
I also think that they are stronger with the fact that they can call on the likes of Daniel Gartner and Haumono off the bench, who've had a lot more first-grade experience. Daniel Gartner, of course, was chosen in one of the rep sides this year. Coming on in leaps and bounds as that kick finds touch from Matthew Ridge. 15 metres out.
Are you considering a future in politics, Paul, when you finish commentating? You didn't answer the question.
What was the question?
Are they a better side this year than last year? Coach.
The potential is there for them to be, no doubt about it.
I think we've got an answer.
None the wiser, right?
He's the leader of the National.
I don't know why we talk to him sometimes.
So Carroll and Gillespie are going back into the game as Daniel Gartner and Neil Tenney come from the field. Canterbury winning the scrum inside their own 20-metre line. And John Timu tries to promote Stephen Hughes, and Hughes has gone over the sideline. That is great defence by Manly.
Well, how good is it? Canterbury have put on about 3 cutouts, looking to try and get around this Manly defence, and they've just handled it to perfection. Marked up, they slid well, and then just got them going backwards. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, Craig Innes very, very strong in defence there. All the momentum going towards the sideline, but he had to show plenty of strength. Acclaim from his teammates as Manly win the scrum. Tuvey, a cut-out pass to Innes, throws the dummy and straightens up centre field.
Tuvey. Haumono. 20 metres out. And they're about to put another one on the board. Haslam, and then Menzies, and then Matthew Ridge turns it inside, and they slam it down through Innes, capping a fine game. Try for Craig Innes, and 24-4.
Sorry, Ray, a beautiful backline move there. Lovely ball from Stephen Menzies. They come to the left side of the field. Jeff Tuvey is first receiver. Des Haslam, look at this ball. Beautiful catch and pass in the one motion. Matthew Ridge could have thrown the long pass to Moore, but gave it to Innes, who did a good job to get the one-handed put down across the line.
Yes, all that play needed was quick hands to find the open spaces. Canterbury had, they were very short in numbers out here. Matthew Ridge, he probably could have scored himself too if he had kept going. Great inside ball, and Menzies, he's had a big second half with his big hitting. That was a lovely pass. I mean, Innes is playing wounded as well, that has done for the last 10 or 15 minutes.
You're right in saying that Craig Innes is the second leading try scorer in the Manly side behind Steve Menzies. He's done very, very well. Tremendous defender, but he can get the ball across the line, and that's the combination you want with your backs.
Well, nobody deserved to score the try more than Craig Innes. He made it possible with his tackle on Stephen Hughes. And that set the Manly machine in motion back for the try line. And here's Ridge just offline. Just offline. 24-4 then. 6 minutes remaining. And the man that started this try really is the man that finishes it. Craig Innes plunging over with the defence hanging off him. El Masri and Hetherington.
A lovely ball from Menzies and good straight running from Matthew Ridge. That had the Canterbury defence in disarray, just running straight into the gap. And that's been one of the big differences between these two sides tonight. Canterbury have just thrown the football across without really drawing any defenders. When Manly do it, they commit defenders, and that opens up holes.
Manly straight through, a brittle defensive line, the support arriving. Oh, Danny Moore, that is excellent handling. 45 metres out from the Manly line. Terry Hill was the man that broke through the defence line originally, and here he is with the football again now. But Danny Moore has done a couple of Houdini things out there tonight. 40 metres away from the Manly line still. Menzies looking for support. Menzies is still able to get it away as John Hopewadi comes away from the sideline, back in field, and eventually pulled down by Glenn Hughes. Sidaris, Manly with plenty of personnel out on the left. Haumono taken by Stephen Hughes. The ball goes out the back for Tuvey. Jeff says play on inside the 30-metre line. Sidaris tries to push away from El Masri. Flick passes to Danny Moore, but it's a penalty. To Manly. Tuvey. Haumono. Here it is. You want it? Ridge has got it. Ridge does the same. Tuvey has another go at trying to go through this tunnel that's proving rather popular. Tuvey playing it back for Sidaris. Carroll. He's wound it right up. Carroll, he lost the ball. (24-4). And he's given another penalty. And the sin bin is ordered. Terry Lamb, I think it is. Yeah, Terry Lamb has been sent to the sin bin. I'm not sure whether it was a professional foul or whether it was something he said to the referee. I don't think it's the first time that's happened to Terry. If he serves me correctly, it happened last year. A similar thing. Mind you, I'm not convinced of the reasoning behind this one. Now Hasler with a long ball on the bounce for Innes. Fed away to Danny Moore. Off the left foot, he beats a couple. Held by Stephen Hughes. 15 metres out from the line. 1 3/4 left on the clock. Haumono again, then Sedaris, now Cunningham. Cunningham, 3 metres out from the line. Held down by Damien Ford and also by Price. Sedaris' pass finding Hopewati, intercepted by Daryl Halligan. Down the left flank, the Manly defence coming across. Look at Menzies. Menzies is across there, and he gives Carroll the chance to make the tackle. Big run by Carroll. Halligan plays it. Now it's with Timu. And John Timu has pulled down 20 metres out. 79 minutes on the clock. Polamauta's pass for Darren Britt. Plenty of work by the big fellow again tonight. Canterbury have been outplugged. And siren has sounded. I must admit I was looking at our clock. The siren has sounded. And referee Kelvin Jeffs calling time, with Manly defeating Canterbury by 24-4. Moore, Hasler, Hopewati and Innes the tries for Manly, and Pollamouta the try for Canterbury Bankstown. A crowd of 14,500 were here to see the return of Matthew Ridge and to see Manly continue their magnificent run in 1996.